This Sunday, 60 Minutes correspondent Lesley Stahl reports on one of the greatest rescue stories that has never been told. In Saigon, American John Reardon was working for Citibank near the end of the Vietnam War. His Vietnamese colleagues faced certain death. Reardon had already been evacuated, but he went back to save them. Here's a preview of Lesley's report.
He says the evacuation has begun. Take your family and go out to the airport and process them through. And I said, well, I don't have a family. And he said, just create a wife and children, no matter who they are, and go out there and sign the document.
And this is the first time you've heard this idea.
Yes, yes.
Try and pass off his Vietnamese colleagues, their spouses and children as his family? There were 105 of them. Do you say to him, are you kidding me? You don't say cockamamie? You don't say...
No, because there'd been so much cockamania before that. This is the time to jump on anything that looked like it was going to float.
You were at the end of your rope.
Yes, absolutely.
It was worth a try, but not for all of them at once. He took the bank van and went out to the airfield alone to see if it would work.
I walked into that processing area and somebody gave me a piece of paper. He said, list your dependents on here. And I was fumbling for what piece of paper I was going to have to write this all down. They said, just attach that to this piece of paper and keep going. So it was a bit of a rush.
There were 15 names. You had a wife and 14 names.
Right, that was kind of ambitious for the start.
Daughter, son, yeah. This is the paper. Wife, daughter, son, 14 kids, some older than he was. He was certifying on a U.S. government document that these were his children. Is your heart pounding? Or you
yes, a little bit.
Sweating?
I certainly was nervous, yes.
Lesley Stahl joins us now. My first question, how did you get this story?
Oh, it's so good. A guy told a guy who told a guy, and then came to one of my producers at 60 Minutes and said, you have to check this out, but if it's true, it's a sensational story. It's like uncovering Schindler, you know?
Yeah.
We uncovered one of the great untold rescues. It's like Argo and all of those things.
And so what's he like?
He is so modest. I could not get him to deal with the heroism in it. He wouldn't go there. It was very frustrating in that respect.
Yeah, heroes never want to say, yes, I am a hero. I think that speaks to who they are.
I agree with that.
Of the people who came, it was over 100 people that came. How did they make out when they first came, and how are they doing now?
Well, the other part of the story that we didn't have enough time to really get into was how wonderful Citibank was. Walter Wriston.
Right, the great banker.
He took care of every one of these people. There were 34 people who worked in the bank. They gave them all jobs, Citibank, in Los Angeles, Chicago, New York, and many of their spouses. And
today?
They're all thriving. They, of course, have grandchildren.
Yes.
It's delicious.
And what was the scariest moment for him?
Well, you'll see it in the piece where he takes 3 of the men on a bus to get on a plane. And the bus is stopped at a checkpoint, and a guy gets on the plane with a gun. And I'm not going to ruin it for everybody, but it's pretty.
Lesley.
If you watch 60, can you find out?
Yes.
We have to watch 60 anyway, but yes.
Since he doesn't see himself as a hero, was he reluctant to even tell you the story when you first approached him? If you have to go through a guy to get it.
Actually not. I think finally he was bursting to tell it. But it is extraordinary it hasn't come out before.
Why? That's the interesting thing.
I think it's his modesty. I do think that he didn't want to seem boastful or as if he was taking credit, but he deserves the credit.
And in the end, he said, I did what I should do. Is that what they say?
Yeah, and he loved these people. They were all worked in the Citibank branch in Saigon, and they were a family. And he couldn't stand that they thought they were going to be massacred as the communists came into Saigon. They were convinced of it. And he just couldn't live with himself.
Yeah, it's amazing that he was out and he went back.
Exactly.
That's what says.
And when you see this, you think of all the dramatic moments. Ed Bradley was one of the people there, who left,
other
even
people
from the
clinging
top.
and desperate to get out. And this was in the midst of that. And these people couldn't find a way out themselves. And he went back and didn't know what to do, and then had this idea.
I can only imagine what it's like. He hasn't told the story. He picks up the phone and it's 60 Minutes calling.
Can you imagine?
Yes.
And it's
the Mike Wallace moment.
good
Mike
news.
Wallace on the phone.
And it's good news. Yeah.
Thank you, Lesley.